Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing an overview of April of 2019 to let you guys know what the energy is like for this month for all of us. This is not going through the signs, this is just what's the energy in the air, what's the cosmic weather like. If you would like to know my perspective, my take on how the month of April goes for your particular sign, that means you can check it for your sun sign, your rising sign, or your moon sign. I do have those available in a link in the description box. You can go to my website. There's a horoscopes page where you can download and purchase those and see what in detail is going on for you based on your sign. But yeah, this month there's a lot. There's a lot going on. But you know what? I just feel like Mercury retrograde ending is like the best part of the month. I don't know about you guys, but ooh, I'm so relieved that Mercury retrograde is ending. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that first, okay? Mercury is still in shadow period as we start the month. And also it's still in a conjunction with Neptune. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say, let's see, I use an 8-degree orb. So if Neptune's at 17 degrees, it's like Mercury up until like 25, 20, like 26 degrees of Pisces and up, which means, let's see, let's say like from like the 14th of April on, but like from the 1st through the 14th, so the first 2 weeks of the month, it's still in a conjunction with Neptune. So not only is Mercury still working to come out of its shadow period, but it's still conjunct Neptune, which makes things still a little unclear, still foggy, still confusing, still not always what it seems. And you know what? I have heard so many people say that this is one of the worst Mercury retrogrades ever. Look, I can't even speak. One of the worst Mercury retrogrades, maybe in a long time or ever in their lifetime. I don't know, but it has been a crazy one. So freaking emo, right? So emotional. Like it doesn't matter what your sign is. I've heard a lot, every sign say, "Oh man, this Mercury retrograde's been the worst. I've been so emo. I don't even know what to do with myself." So yeah, so glad that it's ending. And yeah, of course, I got to be all positive and love and light and say, well, there's lessons and blessings in it. Yeah, there sure is, but still, it's been a challenge to deal with all of this confusion. And, the sign of Pisces can deal with, like, when we have Mercury in Pisces, the planet of communication, in a sign like Pisces, a water sign, one of the most intuitive water signs, the last water sign, the last sign on the zodiac wheel. It's more about nonverbal communication, and it's more receptive, and it can be in its own head a lot. It rules imagination. It's very imaginative. And then you combine that with Neptune, the ruling planet of it, it really intensifies that. And so a lot of us have just been in our own heads, or things that we have perceived to be true have been not true. And we are finding that out as the fog clears, or as Mercury clears away from the fog machine that is Neptune. So yeah, just the good thing is that we are coming out of this month. Hallelujah. Oh my goodness. And of course, where this is affecting you by sign, you can, check out the video for that. I have the link below for that, as I mentioned earlier. But for all of us though, like, I'm glad that this is clearing up. I really am. But yeah, Mercury continues to be in its shadow period pretty much the rest of the time that it's in the sign of Pisces. So that's up until the 17th. And then up until like the 14th or so, it's still conjunct Neptune. So don't think that just because people have posted about Mercury being direct, that everything is just snapping back into complete clarity into situations and that it's wise to jump into decisions without even thinking them through, or oh, I don't need to find out the details. I just think this will work out. No, because we still have this going on. And not only that, but Mercury is going to come back around to being in a square aspect to Jupiter this month. So, it's going to be conjunct Neptune and square Jupiter once again. This is a repeat of something that happened, of an aspect that did happen in March, and that's even more, you know, chances that we could not be seeing things as they really are and only idealizing things the way we want them to be and making decisions based off of that, and less on making decisions less based on like logic and reality and the details and the fine print and everything. So yeah, we're still having this go on. So just brace yourselves. If you do have to make any important decisions, don't stop your life for Mercury in shadow period. Just read everything, communicate as clearly and as good as you possibly can, to make sure that you're making the right decision before you do it. So yeah, but once again, Mercury and Neptune together is beautiful for artistry. Beautiful for artistry and also spiritual work. It can help you to channel if you are like a spiritual worker, light worker or something. When it was retrograde and conjunct Neptune, I know that personally as a reader, there were some things that were like, well, I don't know, it could be this way, that, like, especially with tarot. Tarot requires more of your intuition than astrology does. Astrology, see, we have data and symbols and numbers and logical things to work with, but tarot it's got some of that stuff too, but it requires more of a great deal of your own intuition. And yeah, I know that there was, like, I was going through it. I've been going through it with this Mercury retrograde, still am. And so I will pull cards for guidance. But yeah, when it was retrograde conjunct Neptune, it was like, I don't know what this message means. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was a little more difficult. I mean, yeah. So anyway, we are dealing with this still at the top of the month and also up until like the middle of the month. Also, all month long, we have Mars and Gemini. Mars and Gemini the whole entire month. Tasmanian Devil, Gemini. So when Mars is in Gemini, our sense of direction and drive and action is a little more scattered. It's all over the place. But you want to know something that I enjoy with Mars being in Gemini? Maybe not everybody does, because not everybody appreciates humor and sarcasm and stuff. But Gemini energy is very quick-witted, and it's all about cracking jokes and sharing memes and stuff like that. And so there's a little more of that in the air. There's a little more of that, and like appreciating comedy and the funny, witty, quick clapbacks and stuff like that are like all in the mix when we have Mars and Gemini. And but this can make mutable energy coming through. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deception that's involved with mutable energy. Gemini can be tricky. It's ruled by Mercury. It can be a trickster type of an energy, and especially as we progress throughout the month. And I'll get to that date when I go through date order for things. But when we have an abundance of energy in mutable signs, which we will this month, we will have 3 mutable signs lit up. Well, Mars and Gemini, some planets in Pisces here, and still have Jupiter in Sagittarius. So when we have, like, say, like I said, Mercury conjunct Neptune, that could be deception. It's mutable. It's quickly changeable, and that can be on a lower vibration, dishonesty, and thievery. And then we're gonna have Mercury square Neptune. I'm sorry, Mercury square Jupiter and Venus square Jupiter. So there could be like some even more of deception from others, or others promising more than they can deliver, or and that could be even in love too, with Venus eventually going to make that aspect this month. And then we have Mars, which is actions that are put forth. Some people's actions could be a little deceptive this month, especially when we have Mars square Neptune at the end of the month. um So yeah, and I'm not saying that every person born under mutable energy is a criminal either. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I know there's always, when I talk about the general energy of a sign and the lower vibration or the negative sign of a sign, there's always got to be that one person. Well, I'm a blah 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 sign and I don't do that. And why are you saying that we're all like that? And that means that a Gemini hurt you, or it's like, yo, just stop, okay? Just detach yourself from the information, and don't think I'm talking about you as a whole person. This is me talking about the general energy of a sign, which we are all made of many different ones at different levels. Okay. So I'm just saying, though, all this mutable energy in the air this month, there could be more chances of deception, thievery, and just people not being completely honest, or, just doing things in the moment, and in the doing or saying things in the moment, and in that moment they actually may mean them, but then it's quickly changeable energies, so it may change, their truth may change, or their actions may change. What they promise, there's something that can change within a moment that makes that promise not be able to be fulfilled. Sometimes it's not intentional deception. It's like it just happens that way because you got to adapt and adjust to what the next moment brings you, and leave the last moment behind, no matter what was said or promised or whatever. Sometimes it's like that, but sometimes it does bring the criminals out of the woodworks, though. Okay. I will just let you guys know that. So really protect yourselves this month, protect your information, protect your data, your material items that you care about, protect all that stuff this month. Okay. So let's talk now about some things happening in date order. So first things first is we have the South Node. Well, oh yeah, and then this stupid website doesn't even show the South Node. Okay. So we have the South Node in a conjunction with Pluto. It is exact on April the 4th. Let's go through that. So it's exact on April the 4th. Um, yeah, it's exact on April 4th. And the energy is going to linger. It's going to linger like some days after, some days before. You may feel it, you may experience it. But the South Node's energy is about letting go of some things. It's about situations that can be very karmic that happen, that have to do with Pluto being in the mix. It's like something that's very hard to let go of, very hard to let go of, but you have to, because of karmic reasons. Pluto can rule toxicity. That could be people, situations, thoughts, anything in your life that counts as being something that just kind of festers. And I know that's like sounds disgusting, but Pluto can rule those dark things that are disgusting in our lives for real. So there's anything like that that you need to get rid of, that does not serve you, that's not beneficial to you, that's not helping you out at all. The South Node in a conjunction with it can bring something like that. I did talk about this in my weekly for the week of March 31st, because that did start the month of it included the start of the month of April. But South Node and Pluto and Saturn all together, you know, Capricorn energy rules leaders. Okay? It rules leaders, presidents, political figures, people who are in charge, just leaders in general. Saturn rules that too. Big bosses and corporations and people in high prestigious positions of authority. Pluto rules power. That could be people in positions of power that you fear. Um, they have this silent powerful presence about them. They don't even really have to say much. They don't have to like rah rah about their power. You can just feel it from them. You can feel their intensity, and they can be intimidating. So, the South Node here is like getting rid of, or yeah, something ending, having a karmic ending. And unfortunately, I feel like this month there could be some possible things like on a global scale or international scale to where we may see more like leaders fall in some sort of way. There could be some getting rid of something to do with the government, especially anything corrupt. Pluto can rule the underworld and what is corrupt. So there's some things that are being karmically passed on or um, gotten rid of in some sort of way. And unfortunately, sometimes that can mean even leaders that you admire and adore. I hate to bring this up, but it's just all over the news. And I realized this like the day after like the day that I heard about this happening. But, Nipsey Hussle was looked at as a leader in his community. And unfortunately, he was taken out like around the time that we had this conjunction, very close in degrees. So, and it was very karmic. We don't know why. We don't know the answers why, but it was unfortunately divine timing for some reason that we may never know. But he was looked at as a leader, though, and so Pluto can rule things that are corrupt and people that are corrupt. And like I said, this could be a corrupt taking down of a leader, not necessarily always a taking down of a corrupt leader. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is our elders, people we look up to is Capricorn and Saturn. So, hopefully there's no more violence, like violent instances like that in the month of April. But we could see some things happen to where leaders are taken down, not necessarily by them passing away, but maybe they're having to step down from certain positions of authority. Um, they are having their positions and their titles taken away for some reason. There could be, like I said earlier, some things with the government that have to shift and change, and maybe there could be some violence. Hopefully not, but there could be that brings it about, or some change in laws, or something like that is definitely brewing and going on. This is a transit that happens once every, I don't even know how many years, because the nodes, they come back around once every 18 to 19 years. But these planets, they have a slower orbit. They move at different speeds. So this is probably could be counted as a rare occurrence, a rare astrological occurrence is the South Node with Pluto and Saturn, at least being in the sign of Capricorn. We're we're not going to see this again, in 18 years from now. So anyway, yeah, so there could be some really crazy phenomenons that happen with leaders, authority figures, government, laws. Okay. Now, for us on a regular, just mundane level, depending upon where this is in your chart, this could be like just something that you are trying to really get rid of and shift and change in a major way. And it could be a death of something. It doesn't have to mean like people. Like I said, it can mean just a death of a way of doing something. And so, yeah, you just have to see where Capricorn is in your chart in order to see what that means necessarily for you. It can mean a death of the way that you do relationships. It can mean, there's a very karmic relationship that has had some toxic themes running in the background, like behaviors running in the background, like, obsessiveness or something, and you just got to let it go and get rid of it, or it's gotten rid of for you, it's ending for you. The universe takes it away for you. So anyway, this is happening around the 4th. And then we have on the 5th, we have a new moon. Oops, I'm sorry. Day. Huh? The 5th. We have a new moon in the sign of Aries on April 5th. So the new moon period, this is sun and moon both in Aries. And it's bringing some fresh new energy. It's like, oops, that's month. Oops. Okay. Anyway, this is the sun and moon together in Aries. This is the first sign of the zodiac. This is like another new fresh start for everybody. Um, because this is the first sign, this is like an astrological new year period. So everybody can be feeling that fiery energy of just wanting to like jump and start something new. And they feel in a hurry and in a rush to do so. They don't feel like they want to wait around anymore. It's just like, fire energy can be about urgency, and especially Aries. Aries is definitely about that urgency life, okay? About that urgent life. Like, this has to happen now, oh my God, or else the world's gonna explode. Like, that's totally Aries attitude. So we could be feeling like that in one way or another, in one area of life or the other. Um, yeah, this is new exciting energy coming through, you guys, but you know what? This is these energies are going to be making a square to Saturn and Pluto and the South Node all in Capricorn. And so, we are going to be feeling, yeah, but actually, I think I may have mentioned this in the weeklies, but Saturn, Pluto, and I'm sorry, Capricorn and Aries both rule military, being militant in some sort of way. And yeah, the literal military. So, Aries energy or Mars energy carries out the orders of Capricorn energy, which is leadership and plotting and strategizing, and figuring out the plan for execution. And then Aries does the execution of it all. So they are challenging each other. They're squaring each other. This new moon has that included in the mix. So there could be like something that has to be let go of in order for something new to begin. So it just depends on where Aries is in your chart, where Capricorn is in your chart. Those two areas, they are like looking at each other in this frustrating way and maybe having a little argument with one another, but they're like in the end, like, yo, we really need to work together to make some changes happen. I want them to happen now, now, now. That's Aries energy. And Capricorn is like, no, we must do slowly but surely. We must plot, plan, strategize to bomb first. I don't know if you guys know where that's from. That just came to mind right now. Tupac. Tupac was actually an Aries moon. So, it could be just that, like plotting and planning and strategizing and making sure that we have a solid idea of, the consequences as well as the rewards of our actions before we jump and take them. Like Aries just wants to jump and take them. The Capricorn energy that it's squaring is like, no, 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 hold up, Aries. Slow your roll. Okay. Calm your horns. All right. Because we don't want to just run into walls all stupid. Okay. And then just keep on banging our head into the wall. How else can we knock the dang wall down if we really want to cross over it in order to get to what we want? So that's these energies working, like, I guess, like, I don't want to say working together because they're not skipping hand in hand singing kumbaya or anything. They are like challenging each other. They're challenging each other in order to come together in the end, is what I mean. So that's what the new moon in Aries is bringing for all of us. And yeah, it's fresh new starts, but it's still saying like there is an air of caution. Um, there's a level of caution that has to be had before we start something new. But yeah, hopefully you guys are, you know, don't forget that you set your intentions with the new moon when it's in its dark moon phase. And then once the moon starts to grow and progress throughout the next several days or weeks or whatever, and it starts to grow, meaning you start to see it visible in the sky again, and it starts to fill up, quote unquote, again, until we get to the full moon. Once you see it again, even the sliver of it, the slightest sliver of it, um, that's when you may see the manifestation of whatever seeds that you planted or whatever intentions that you set during the dark moon phase, wherever Aries is in your chart. Okay. All right. So, what else is going on this month? Well, let's cover the big stuff because I will cover things in more detail, transit by transit in the weeklies. But we do have Jupiter going retrograde, and Jupiter retrograde is in Sagittarius. So Jupiter is in its home sign as Sag. It's happy in Sag. It gives many blessings in Sag, but it can also like blow things up, blow things up in a way that brings them to your attention, even if they're not good, so that you can see them like clearly. And with Jupiter and Sag, Look at we've already had a scandal. We've already had a scandal that with Sagittarian themed things, which is college, the whole college scandal thing. Sag rules colleges. Jupiter blows things up. And so we've had that go on. What else have we had go on with Jupiter and Sag that are things that Sagittarius rules? I don't know. I can't think right now, but you guys let me know below if you have noticed anything. But anyway, when Jupiter goes retrograde, the blessings of Jupiter are kind of slowed down. They're slowed down, and it is a time to go within. And Jupiter does rule the higher mind. So the higher mind is going to be more introspective at this time. Wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, Jupiter may have been giving you some blessings or maybe promising a lot of big things. But, when it comes down to it, it's like, what is Jupiter is about the big picture. So you've been seeing things in the picture perspective. But when it goes retrograde, it's like you got to go within and you got to review things in a little bit more detail. You know what I mean? So that's what could be going on when Jupiter is retrograde. It turns retrograde on the 10th of April, and it's going to be there until August 11th. And it gets up to this 24th degree and then goes backwards. And then it goes back to the degrees that we started the year with in January. So pretty much whatever was going on in the realm of Sagittarius in your world from January until April, then from April through August is we're going back and reviewing it. If this is some in a financial sector for you, this could be with finances or a financial opportunity that maybe you looked over or was missed somehow. Maybe that can come back from the past. Retro is the past, and it's bringing it back when it's moving, over the past. So maybe it could be, an opportunity from the past, but maybe new opportunities and blessings may slow down during this time, next 4 months. If it's in the realm of relationships for you, then maybe it is like, well, you've been going out on a lot of dates and everything, having a lot of suitors, prospects, or whatever hitting you up. But now it's going to slow down. It's like, it's time to go within when it comes to the whole dating thing and figure out what you really want before the universe will bless you with any more people. It's about, yeah, just figuring out your role in relationships and your needs and your wants and all of that. Maybe somebody from the past can come back as far as relationships. You know what I'm saying? So it just all depends. But yeah, retro is going back and we're reviewing stuff from January through now over the next 4 months. Okay. So also, you know what? We're gonna have the sun squaring Saturn and squaring Pluto around like the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, like in those areas during those times. Oh my gosh, Mercury is making my speech like sound so illiterate. I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm really trying to push through here. I've been talking all day recording stuff. So anyway, um, I will go over this in more detail during the weeklies, but we will have the sun squaring Saturn and Pluto. So pretty much stuff that was brought up with the new moon in Aries is, when the new moon is over, it doesn't mean, oh, well, that's it. Okay, moving along. Bye. No, like the sun still continues to progress in the sign of Aries and come up to the same degrees that Saturn and Pluto are hanging out in. So there could be some challenges with authority around that time. Aries is the rebellious kid that's like, whatever, I do what I want, and it can be a little bit reckless sometimes and really just wants to do whatever they want, no matter what anybody says. And then Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn, which once again rules authority figures, the government, the rules, the laws. So this could be power struggles. Both signs are very powerful, very much about power and authority and leadership in some sort of way. But Aries is more like me, I'm the leader. Everybody has to follow me because I'm me and I know everything and I'm first and I'm the best and I'm me. But then Capricorn is like, well, I earned this spot. I worked hard to get here. I climbed the mountains. I climbed ladders. I climbed all kinds of stuff in order to get to where I'm at. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be respected. So yeah, we can have the sun squaring this can mean there's some things that we just want to jump and fly and lead the way and do, but maybe some authority figures may challenge us in some sort of way and tell us like, nah, you can't do it that way. We may be checked on our actions, and there could be some more rules and regulations that are attempted to be implemented upon us. This is a time, you know what? This could be people rebelling and against corporations, the government, like Aries rules the identity, the me, myself, and I. This is who I am, and I'm proud of me. And then, Capricorn energy squaring that can mean, okay, well, no matter who you are, there's still rules to follow. And, or Capricorn can be asking a lot of questions of Aries energy, like, who are you really, and why should I care? So, I think this time last year, was it last year? Was it 2018 or 17? When there was that crazy lady who was a YouTuber and she looked very odd, and people said like, is she even a real person, or is she, what I'm saying? This is some crazy stuff because she does have a unique look to her. Let's just say that to be nice. But remember, she was a YouTuber, and she went to the YouTube headquarters, and I think she shot some people and then herself. I think that was what the issue was. But she was so upset with like rules that were being put into place to regulate YouTube. At that time, Uranus was in Aries, and I think she had Aries in her chart from what I remember. Or she was a Scorpio. I don't know. There was something Uranian about her, but Uranus was still in Aries trying to really rebel. But it was during Aries season. And I think there were some squares to Capricorn at that time. So I'm not saying that there's exactly going to be a repeat of that. But there can be some similar things that happen where people are upset that their freedom is being restricted in some sort of ways by authority figures or government or corporations and want to rebel. So, hopefully it's nothing insane like that last year exactly, but there could be a little bit of stuff like that going on this month, rebellion in some way. But yeah, it's like mid-month. Like I said, it's the 10th. Let's see, April 10th. Yeah, that's when Sun is at 20 degrees, Saturn is at 20 degrees, so that's a square by degree and sign. And then the 13th is when the Sun is at 23 degrees of Aries, and then here's Pluto 23 degrees of Capricorn. So there's some power struggles here. Okay. All right. So the 17th is when Mercury is out of shadow period. Hallelujah. And then Mercury goes into Aries the same day. So where's that at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Mercury. Yes, Mercury is in Aries. Steps into Aries. It could be the wee hours of the 17th. Yeah. Or it could be, could be late at night on the 16th. According to this planetwatcher.com. Yeah, it could be the 16th, really late at night, or the 17th, depending upon where you live. So Mercury fresh into Aries, out of Pisces, out of the shadow. OMG, this is nice. Um, so we do have this energy fresh and brand new with Mercury, which is our communication and how we text, email, DM, post on social media. That's all Mercury. How we speak to people, if people actually speak to each other anymore. Yeah, that's all Mercury. So it's in Aries, which is bold, it's loud, it's more, like I said earlier, Pisces is very much, it's not as direct. It can be more about nonverbal communication, but Aries is not about that at all. This is a really huge, noticeable shift. People are more direct, they're more firm, they're more loud, more swear words go flying around, like people cursing a lot more when Mercury's in a fire sign. Mercury rules the hands, and people will just, and Aries energy is about conflict and fighting and war. So hopefully people don't, I mean, and Mercury goes into Aries every year, so this isn't like a new phenomenon, like, oh my God, the world is gonna go crazy and everybody's just gonna start swinging at each other. No, no, not maybe not, but there could be an increase in conflicts and fights and people talking stuff to each other, for the time that Mercury is in Aries. And Mercury is going to be in Aries until May 6th. So it enters on the 16th or 17th of April. It's there till May 6th. Now, right away, it'll step into a conjunction with Chiron in Aries. Chiron, the wounded healer. So this could bring up identity issues with some people, physical body issues that they're concerned about and want to talk about, ways that people felt victimized based on their identity. There will be more speech about that. And Aries energy is a fighter energy. So people could be very bold and feisty and maybe a little aggressive in the way that they talk about issues that have hurt them in some sort of way. Or people may be quick to fight over someone saying something about their identity, whatever they identify as a person. So people will be a little sensitive about that. May not be the time to crack jokes about certain ways in which people identify themselves when Mercury steps into Aries, and then is in the realm of Chiron. So I'm going to say Mercury will be conjunct Chiron. Let me see. Hold on. So maybe like, let's see, Mercury here. Yeah, maybe until like around the 25th, 26th, 27th of the month, is there's going to be a sensitivity with stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, Mercury in Aries, that means hallelujah, the shadow period is over and all the confusion is over, and we're stepping into some clarity and maybe trying to heal from some things that we felt so emotional about during Mercury retrograde and Mercury in Pisces. So look forward to that, you guys. All right, so we have a full moon in Libra on the 19th. So let's skip ahead. The 19th. All right, so the 19th, wait, yeah. Anyway, so April 19th, we have a full moon in Libra. Oh, it must be like early in the morning. Let's see. So it's going to be at 29 degrees of Libra. All right. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, it's gonna be like wee hours of the morning West Coast time in the US, and then probably just like during the day sometime in the eastern part of the world, eastern parts. So let's check this out. Let's break this full moon in Libra down. And once again, if you want a breakdown of how it affects you by sign, I've got monthly horoscopes in the link in the description area. But the 29th degree. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick because last month in March we had a full moon in Libra as well. It was at 0 degrees, 0 degrees. So that's like new energy, 0 degrees. That's like the Fool card in tarot, the zero card, the first card of the deck, just barely stepping into a journey, not even having all the right information. Um, Maybe even like trying to jump and take some actions without fully knowing what exactly it is that you're doing or that you want to do. You just know you want to jump and do something, right? So that could have been the energy of the last full moon in Libra. And Libra is the sign of relationships. So just in general, yeah, there could have been a lot of relationship stuff with people that they were stepping into something new and exciting or whatever. And full moons, they involve the sun and the moon opposing each other at the same degree, but they're in opposite signs. So there's a tug of war. There's a decision that has to be made, and it can bring some tension. There's tension first, and then once the full moon starts to, it moves away from like being in the same degrees and everything. That's when the tension starts to dissipate, and then things get figured out, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm cool now. It's kind of like people are like, oh, going crazy, throwing a tantrum, oh my god, freaking out, they're all emotional, and then it's like, okay, I'm fine now that I got that out. That's what full moons are like in general. But check out this 29th degree though. The 29th degree, the last degree that a sign has. You know, signs go from 0 to 29 degrees. So this is energy wanting to just hurry up and get to the next sign when it's at the 29th degree. It's like, okay, I've already been there, done that with whatever the sign is, whatever it rules. Uh, can we get to the next sign, the 0 degree of the next sign now? Thank you very much. You know, I'm tired now. Already done this, already been through this. Like, it's anxious energy. It could be anxious and nervous energy. So, that could be going on here on this full moon. And this full moon is going to be making a square to Pluto. So we've still got some like Pluto energy in the mix, Capricorn energy in the mix. It's making a T square here. So what this means is, yeah, there's something that's we're uncovering, we're unearthing. There could be hidden information regarding relationships, regarding ourselves, how we identify ourselves, us versus them topics, me versus you, an individual versus people, like what I want to do versus what other people expect of me. And then there's Pluto here in the mix, which could be like transformation. It could be about hidden power, fears, paranoia, with what's next. So that's just in general what this full moon can bring about. And at least the sun part of it is in a conjunction by degree, not by sign, but degree to Uranus, which brings about some anxious, nervous energy, anxiety, but also like um, wanting some transformation, some change that's different and new and looking ahead to the future. But it's also sudden things that can happen. So there can be some sudden changes and that are like surprises and unexpected with this full moon in Libra, um, that that go on for us. But yeah, Libra energy is about balance and harmony, and this is like really trying to balance something out in our lives because the Aries energy is like it's about the opposite. It's fighting, it's a fighter energy. Um, so yeah, there's definitely like harmony that needs to be had, balance that needs to be had. Maybe there's conversations that were not had or were not properly had when we had all this like Pisces energy, Mercury and Pisces in particular with Neptune. Maybe there was a lot of confusion with it's like I don't understand you. I don't and how come you're not speaking up about this and or maybe you're just being too vague, or people are pulling some weird ninja Houdini moves and just disappearing and ghosting and stuff and you don't know why and you know what I'm saying? Like they're hiding away or maybe you felt like hiding away from the world and not really communicating with people very much because you had so much emotional crap on your mind and didn't properly communicate stuff. Well, now that Mercury has moved into Aries at the time of this full moon, that is helping to clear things up. But this full moon is saying, hey, something has to give. There has to be some clarity to things now, so that we can move on to the next phase, the next stage, the next sign, whatever. And it can be in the realm of relationships with the moon and the sign of relationships. And hopefully it does bring that clarity if that's something that does apply to you out there in the world. But yeah, full moon in Libra. Um, if you only look at the fact that it's in Libra and the sign of Libra, only where the moon is at, you'll think, oh, this is lovely. Libra energy just wants everyone to get along and oh, it's just beautiful and harmonious. Nah, but you got to look at the sun part though. Where's the sun at? And then what's in a conjunction and what's in a square and what else is going on at the same time? Um, so yeah, this is and if you want to get real technical, this full moon is still it's kind of I guess you can call this like a grand cardinal square because of the nodes being in cardinal signs, the north node and the south node. And once again, this stupid website, oh my gosh, does not show the south node. Why? Planetwatcher.com. Why can't you just put the south node here? Like it doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we have this it's a cardinal T square. The nodes are fate, karmic fate and destiny. So whatever happens, even if it's something unfavorable, even if it is a breakup or something, just understand that the hands of fate are at work, divine timing and karma are at work, and just pushing things out of your life that no longer belong in order to clear space and hold space for what does belong. So that's that full moon in Libra this month, you guys. Powerful stuff. So on the 20th, we have a couple things going on. We have the sun moving into Taurus. Okay. And so the sun will be here from April 20th until May 21st. So the sun's energy being in Taurus, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see more themes. You know what? It's crazy because Earth Day happens when the sun is in Taurus. Taurus is an Earth sign. I don't think that's a coinky dink, you guys. I don't think that is just like something like it goes along with the energy of the season of Taurus. Taurus energy is an earth sign, yes, and it does care about nature and the earth and our resources is what it rules. So Earth Day is about conservation of resources, right? Saving our planet and all that, recycling and all that. Taurus rules all of that. So you see how astrology, it really does play out in real life, whether it's planned or not. It's just the energy in the air, and we just kind of do things going along with it, sometimes unconsciously, because this is just what's going with the flow of what we're receiving. And not everybody that does that is hip to astrology and what the planets are doing. But anyway, so just think about that when you think of the energy of Taurus. It's about our resources. It's about the five senses, what we smell, touch, taste, hear, see, all of that. So we will be much more in tune with that and paying attention to those things. Taurus rules money. Um, yeah, it's all of our resources, but what do we care about, especially in the westernized world, more than anything? Money. Okay, so it is putting a big focus, a big emphasis on financial stuff. And also, it could be putting a big emphasis on things like our food as well. So, food is the next biggest thing that we care about in this world, the Taurus rules. So, something to do with our food, we'll be paying more attention to stuff like that. Taurus energy, you know what? It's very grounded and it's about stability, but Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus is going to be here until 2026, and I know I owe you guys a video on this transit. I know. I've just had so freaking much going on personally and business-wise, so it's still on my list though. It's still on my list. So anyway, Uranus is a planet that does rule things happening unexpectedly, surprises, the future, and things that are eccentric. It rules electricity. It rules like, yeah, just being zapped, whether literally, physically, or metaphorically speaking, like being zapped with something exciting or different, or yeah, just something unplanned. So the sun conjunct Uranus. Now we can have issues with technology, or not even always issues, but just like a focus, like things that just happen that pop up that have to do with technology. I have seen the sun conjunct Uranus bring things like technology failures, though, because Uranus rules technology, rules electricity, technological devices that we use. So there could be like, I don't know, just sudden weirdness with your phone and laptops or whatever. Um, Sun conjunct Uranus days are days where people will express their individuality, their eccentricity, their weirdness a little more than usual, especially Uranian types like Aquarius is. Aquarius are ruled by Uranus. People who have a very strong, prominent position of Uranus in their own natal charts, like if you have the Sun conjunct Uranus in your chart, doesn't matter if it's in Taurus or not. Uranus in your first house, Uranus conjunct your moon. Those are what I mean by strong Uranian placements. This is you feeling like you're in your element, like your inner weirdo is going to just shine out even more. And you'll just maybe dress a little crazier, express yourself like that because the sun can rule expression. So you'll be expressing yourself in a very Uranian way and just really feel like you're in your alien element. We'll have some things come up probably around the sun conjunct Uranus days as far as like science and technology and aliens and and conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But yeah, the sun will technically be conjunct Uranus, I think, through the rest of the month. Yeah, I guess pretty much you could say that through the last day of the month, which is the 30th. And actually the 30th is my birthday. I know I'm a mysterious Scorpio rising and all that, but my sun sign is Taurus, and yeah, that is my actual birthday is the last freaking day of the month. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, the sun in Taurus, sun conjunct Uranus as soon as it steps into Taurus. Also on the 20th we have Venus moving into Aries. Where's she at? Okay, so I think it's like just later in the day that Venus shifts into Aries. So yeah, it's like the morning, on the West Coast. If you are in the East, anywhere in the world, it's probably the afternoon or the evening. Venus in Aries. Oh, so here's moving out of nonverbal Pisces. It could be very passive into bold Aries. It's just charging forward. Aries energy could be very barbaric in nature. And if you've got Mercury in Aries, I already told you that could be like just talking in a barbaric way, not caring, just like swearing a lot and everything. Venus in Aries, she is just like, yeah, like Venus is how you enjoy yourself and how you act in relationships and love and everything. So she really is just charging full speed ahead with what she wants and what she needs. So this can bring about that general energy when it comes to love of us just kind of charging forward and going after who we want, like being a cave person. You see the dude that you like, you just beat him upside the head with the club and be like, yo, you coming home with me, and drag him by the arm. I'm not saying to condone violence. Please don't anybody come up on here and be the social justice warrior. Oh my God, she's condoning violence. I'm unsubscribing. You promote that. I ain't promoting nothing. I'm cracking a joke. Leave me alone. Anyway, Venus and Aries, it can act like that though. You see someone you want, you just jump and fly and be like, yo, what's up? What it is? What are we gonna do? So Venus also rules like our style and fashion and everything. So we will see more bold reds come through, red lipstick, red makeup of any kind. Um, People rocking the color red. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You know, Venus ruled people are very in tune with the sign that Venus is transiting through. So that means, makeup artists, hairstylists, they just naturally, if you follow any of them on their social media, you'll see the trends go along with where Venus is at. A lot of times, also where the sun is at too. You'll see the trends kind of shift along with that. But Venus especially. So we will see it go from mermaids and unicorns and purples and hues of blue and aquamarine and holographic and rainbow and fantasy and of Pisces, and shift into Aries, which is like a bold red lip, bold eyebrows, maybe a cat eye or some eyeliner, and that's it. And messy hair and a leather jacket and a cigarette. Like that's how people are gonna be. That's the style that's gonna be in. Um, and a lot of times Venus is in Aries. Venus rules women, and Aries is about I am and standing up for myself and fighting and all that stuff. So, a lot of times Venus is in Aries. We can see things like women marching and women protesting against things, and we're not going to stand for this, and we need higher pay and stuff like that. Comes out more when Venus is in Aries too. So yeah, Venus moves into Aries on the 20th, and she is there until the 15th of May. So yeah, from April 20th till May 15th, we got Venus in Cave Woman Aries. Okay, so moving along, we're gonna have Pluto and Saturn both in retrograde this month. Pluto and Saturn. Let's talk about Pluto first because it goes retrograde first. Pluto retrograde, this happens once a year. It's in the sign of Capricorn. Pretty much, it's Pluto just going backwards, going back over the territory that it covered by degree from January until April of 2019. So wherever Capricorn is in your chart, and then looking at what Pluto rules, transformation, regeneration, death and rebirth, the underworld, um, hidden information, secrets, toxicity, getting rid of toxins, detoxing, flushing out of old, and all of that stuff is what Pluto rules. The dark side of life, you know. So wherever Capricorn is in your is in blah, 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 wherever Capricorn is in your chart, that's where Pluto is at, and that's what it's kind of bringing to that area of life, bringing more to your attention. Um, but it's moving retrograde, so it's going backwards. And you know, Pluto is such a slow moving planet that we'll probably barely even really notice Pluto retrograde. It's going to go retrograde until October, like the first couple days of October. So it's a long retrograde, and it's so far away from the earth that honestly the effects are going to be very subtle. But I do just have to mention it is going retrograde. It's going within, and maybe more of the transformation that you're experiencing wherever Capricorn is in your chart, it's going to be more internalized at that time, and like figuring things out for yourself and going within to, you know, figure out what you want to do in that area, how you're going to go about it, but you're not really taking the actions. It's just, you know, all retrograde planets are about going within. So it could be something along those lines. The transformation can be more so like internal than, yeah, it could be more so internal than like something that you see manifesting external outside of you with Pluto. So yeah, Pluto retrograde, and we have on the 27th, that's when Mars goes into a square with Neptune, and I'll cover this more in detail. Where's he at? That's something that I'll cover when I do the weeklies in even more detail. But just letting you guys know, this is adding to that mutable energy that I told you about that's popping off this month. Mutable squares, mutable conjunctions, mutable oppositions, they can bring out more deception in people, whether intentional or unintentional. So, yeah, this is going to be one of those days where we do have, oops, sorry. It's late. It's getting late where I'm at. So I'm just like, okay. So yeah. Anyway, this is the 26th, actually, 26th, 27th, whatever, is when it's going to be exact with Mars in a square to Neptune. So yeah, it's going to be at that degree the whole day of the 26th. As you can see, 17 degrees of Gemini is what I'm looking at, and then 17 degrees of Pisces, squaring each other. But I'm trying to look for that little 55. When does it get up to that? When does Mars get up there to like 1755-ish? Sorry, I'm a big nerd and I have to see like exacts. Okay, so yeah, let's just say it's an exact square. Early morning on the west coast of the 27th, but it's probably like afternoon, like morning or afternoon in the eastern world, eastern parts of the world. Anyway, Mars square Neptune, this is actions, and this is direction also, but then loss of direction. This is actions that yeah, I want to do it, I want to do this, I want to do that, you know, saying, talking a good game about something, but then you don't have all the details, and your actions may be dissolved or dissipated in some sort of way for some reason. Something just may not go through that you want to do and jump and do. And then at the same time, you know, it's not an exact square, but Mars is making an opposition to Neptune. So it is I mean, to Jupiter. So Mars is already like in a T square. It's in a T square. It's in an exact square here, and then in an opposition here. So there's a T square. Mars and Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter and Neptune are both planets of idealism, looking at things from a perspective of like, yeah, this is how I want things to go, and I really want it to go this way, and I believe and I have all the faith in the world that it will. But a lot of times you don't even look at the details. You don't look at the fine print. You don't look at the consequences and see if things can really transpire the way that you want them to. But this is action, so you still may jump. Okay, so anyway, Mars square Neptune and opposing Jupiter. Yeah, the end of the month can bring about some deceptive actions from people. So this is a time period where I will say once again, protect your assets, your physical material items, your data, your information. I think data and information is more like Mercury in the mix, but people taking actions that dissolve the boundaries where they don't see the boundaries between you and themselves could be like, some physical things going on, more physical stuff that, physical forms of deception or whatever. So, anyway, that's what's going on the 27th. And then on the, what day was that? The 29th. This is Saturn going retrograde. Yeah. Saturn goes retrograde on the 29th of April in the sign of Capricorn. So wherever Capricorn is in your natal chart, Saturn has been doing some work, making you accountable for your actions or your lack of actions, trying to get you to be more responsible and mature in that area of life. And now Saturn is going retrograde. Okay, there we go. So let's just say it's like in the evening. It's in the evening time, late afternoon or early evening that Saturn goes retrograde. West Coast. On the East Coast, it's in the evening as well. And then Eastern countries in the world, it could be the next day, which is the 30th that we count Saturn retrograde. So Saturn as well is going to be going back over January through April. So in the realm of Capricorn, wherever Capricorn is in your chart, okay, I always tell this little story, right, when I explain Saturn retrograde. So if you've already heard it before, forgive me, but hey, for those who haven't, I'm going to let them know. This is my perspective. So Saturn is like parental authoritative energy, right? So I always say Saturn retrograde is like this. Say like, you have a strict pops, right? And they gave you some orders. They gave you a chore to do. Say they gave you the chore of cleaning your room and you're a kid. They said, I want you to clean your room. I'm not going to stand here and hover over you and micromanage you, although I would love to. Uh, I am going to hold you accountable and responsible for cleaning your own room, son. All right. And I'm going to go and I'm going to run some errands and do my thing, or I'm going to go to work or something, right? And then when I come back, I'm going to check your room. It better be clean, but I don't want anything shoved in the closet, shoved under the bed. I don't want any actions that are, halfway done, half stepping. No, ain't no half stepping here. Just like Big Daddy Kane said back in the day. Okay. Big Daddy Saturn says no half stepping with the chore I gave you to do. You need to do it thoroughly and properly. You got it? Oh, yes, yes, father. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, pops, whatever. All right. Closes the door, goes off, does his thing. Now, that's when Saturn's direct. Then when it's retrograde, it's pops coming back. Big Daddy Saturn comes back, opens your door. Hey, son, is your room clean? Yeah. Are you sure about that? Yeah, it's clean. Okay. I'm going to check. I'm going to check under your bed. I'm going to check in your drawers. I'm going to check your closet. And if I see anything shoved in there, I'm going to just take it out and throw it. And you're going to have to start all over again and do it the right way. So wherever wherever Capricorn is at, Saturn is retrograde in your chart. If there's any holes in what you've been doing in that area of life, Saturn is going to point them out to you. Sometimes it can come in the form of a human being embodying Saturn, playing the role of Saturn in your life. That can mean any type of authority figures pointing the finger at you, pointing out what you did wrong, which could be annoying, but once again, it's to build a more solid foundation and to make sure you learn. So that way you learn. Like George Lopez, so that way you learn. Or Kevin Hart, you gonna learn today. That's Saturn's motto. You gonna learn today, or that so that way you learn. So there could be some tough lessons, some consequences that come up if Saturn catches you slipping, you haven't been doing things correctly and properly in that area of life. So just keep that in mind before the retrograde. Be like, oh my gosh, oh Lord, have mercy. Saturn is going retrograde in my second house of finance, for my Sagittarians out there. Sag usually is not the sign that is the best with money. And when I say the best with money, I'm talking about conserving and saving and being very frugal. Sag is living it up. It's enjoying life to the fullest and not worried about the consequences all the time. So because of that, that's why I say they're not the sign that's the best with money. With you know money in a practical sense. So you guys have Saturn in your second house. I'm just using you guys as an example. But once again, you want to know where this affects you in your chart by your sign, click the link below. Okay. But just using them as an example, real quick, because I've been dealing with a lot of Sag energies lately, very directly and personally, and I see how it has affected them. So Saturn is asking you guys to be more responsible. You have a you're holding down a job, good. You haven't run off from that job yet? Okay, good. But have you really been doing the job right? You know, have you been saving your money? Have you been budgeting it? Or have you just been still flying by the seat of your pants and hoping that by some miracle, if you spend all the money, it's going to just drop right out of the sky back into your bank account? You know, Sag usually can get away with that, but I'm telling you guys, with Saturn, you're not going to be able to get away with that as much as you usually are. So, and then plus your ruling planet is in your sign retrograde too. So anyway, just using them as a quick example. In the realm of finances, hey, if that's how it affects you, if there's any mistakes you've made, they're going to be thrown back in your face. Okay? And it may not be pretty, it may not be nice, but that is how parental figures can be sometimes. They got to check you on things, and it's not always so, oh, it's okay, son. Sometimes it's you get a whooping, there's some punishment, there's you get grounded. Hey, well, I'm gonna take this away from you. Saturn can take things away, just like a parent. Big Daddy Saturn will snatch things up and be like, nah, you know what? You're not getting this until you know how to properly appreciate it or until you have properly earned it. Okay. So anyway, that's Saturn retrograde. It goes retrograde on the 29th of April, and then it's going to be retrograde through September the 18th. Once again, it's covering anything that Saturn has had you working on wherever Capricorn is in your chart from January until now. All right, you guys. So that's the month of April for you. Woo, I did a lot of talking. I'm surprised I still have a voice. Let me go sip some water or some tea. But you guys have a great month. And, I will be posting weeklies as well. I will be returning back to my regularly sort of scheduled posting on Instagram too. I took kind of a hiatus. This Mercury retrograde has really done a number on me, you guys. I'm not going to get too much into my personal details, but I did post a little something on my Instagram about it, about how it's just slapped me in the face. And I am a Pisces as well. My moon is Pisces. The moon rules your emotions, and Mercury has been hovering over that stuff, just throwing a lot of emotional stuff right back in my face that I have ran from because my Taurus stellium tells me to, oh, you just suck it up and work, just suck it up and troop it out and just keep going, keep moving. Just ignore it. Don't worry about how you feel. There's practical, real world, logical things that have to be done. There's work to be done. And, when you do that a lot of times, then you have a transit like this, retro, bringing things back in an emotional water sign. I mean, oh my goodness, the tears have been flowing like daily, and I'm not even a big crier like that, but it's been pretty heavy on the heart. So it's been a little hard to function um properly, and I've had to go within a lot and kind of retreat and hide out from the world because I just feel like I don't want to just talk about all this emo stuff all the time. And as a reader also, I don't want any of my personal feelings to infiltrate into readings too much. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like if I'm going through something, I don't want that to trickle into readings when I'm supposed to be helping someone else with their issues. Sometimes I'll give personal examples in readings, um, but I just feel like when I'm overwhelmed with emotions and issues in my life, that it'll just be a little too much of that. So I kind of have to hide away for a little bit until I get that all like sorted out and get rid of it so I can proceed, but I have to face it. There's things you got to face when there's retrogrades. Things can be flung right back at you like a boomerang that you threw at a distance and say, I'll deal with it later. Retrograde planets can be like, up, boomerang, look out, Bing. Here, oh, sorry, I didn't give you that great of a warning, and now it hit you right in your face, and it hurts. So anyway, I've been emo, okay, and out of commission, but as Mercury clears away, I will be back on Instagram posting away a lot of stuff for you guys, a lot of material. So make sure you follow me on there. My info is in the info box below. And yeah, have a good month and I'll see you guys in my weekly forecast. All right, peace.